So you want land, chickens, mud on your boots, and neighbors far enough away that you can yell at a goat and nobody calls the cops. You want a homestead. You want off-grid freedom. What you don't want is to sell a kidney to pay for it. Here's the good news. There are still states in America where land is so cheap it feels like a typo. Here's the bad news. Sometimes it is basically a typo with property taxes. Today we're counting down the 5 cheapest states where you can actually buy land, start a homestead, and live more or less off the grid in 2025. We're talking real dirt cheap acres. The kind of listings that make you zoom in on the map and ask, okay, but what's wrong with it? We'll go state by state. What the land really costs, what the rules look like, and what kind of trouble you're quietly signing up for. Because if the land is cheaper than your last DoorDash order, there's a reason. Let's get into it. Before we jump in, if you like weirdly affordable land, off-grid loopholes, and questionable life decisions that somehow pay off, hit like and subscribe. We dig through the boring county documents so you don't have to. You just get the map, the numbers, and the, are we really doing this? All right. State number 5, Arkansas. Cheap, humid, and strangely functional. If you want to start off-grid without going full desert survival, Arkansas is your quiet enabler. Most people think Walmart, trucks, and that one uncle who fixes everything with duct tape. But between the Ozarks and the Delta, rural land still sits around $2,000 to $3,000 an acre, sometimes less if you don't mind gravel roads and a post office that closes whenever it feels like it. The dirt? It's good dirt. Things grow, sometimes too well. You'll have more tomatoes, weeds, and volunteer squash than you ever asked for. Regulation-wise, in many rural counties, nobody cares if your house started life as a shed, a cabin kit, or a shipping container with dreams. Building departments are thin, inspectors are busy, and as long as you're not dumping sewage in a ditch, most people just nod and say, "Looks good." The trade-off is humidity. Step outside in July and it feels like someone wrapped you in a warm, damp towel. Mold, bugs, and why is everything sweating become part of your vocabulary. Internet is spotty. Cell service is a suggestion. If your dream includes live streaming your goats in 4K, maybe lower the resolution. Still, Arkansas gives you 3 rare things at once: cheap land, real water, and a culture where nobody blinks if you show up with chickens and a half-finished plan. State number 4, Missouri. Fertile, moody, and secretly perfect for weirdos with plans. They call it misery as a joke, usually in February when the wind cuts through 5 layers of clothing, or in August when the humidity hugs you like a relative who doesn't understand personal space. But for homesteading, Missouri over-delivers. In many southern and central rural counties, acreage under $2,500 per acre is still common. Go a bit out and you'll find it even cheaper. The land is not dead dirt. Hills, forests, pastures. You drop a seed, something tries to grow, usually aggressively. Missouri also has no statewide residential building code, which means your freedom depends on the county. Go far enough out, and the rules feel more like suggestions. You want to turn an old barn into a cabin and wire it yourself? People won't be impressed, but they also won't be shocked. The catch is, weather is dramatic. Storms are real, and flat ground is more of a rumor than a feature. Every trip to your neighbor somehow feels uphill both ways. Internet is hit and miss. Emergency services take their time. If 5 minutes from a hospital is your safety metric, Missouri's back roads are not trying to impress you. But if you want cheap, fertile land with room to experiment, Missouri stays on the list. State number 3, West Virginia. Ridiculously pretty, steep, and misunderstood. West Virginia is where land prices and Gothic scenery shake hands. In rural counties, you can still find acres under $2,000, sometimes well under, with views that look like a movie filmed on a fog machine's day off. This is not grid pattern farmland. This is holler country. Everything is on a slope, under a slope, or actively sliding off a slope while pretending everything's fine. Gardening isn't raised beds. It's engineering. Terraces, retaining walls, and the constant feeling that gravity hates your dreams. But the payoff is huge. Privacy, forest, water sources, and neighbors who are extremely talented at minding their own business. Building rules? On paper, sure. In practice, if you're far enough out, nobody's hiking up a mountain to argue with you about window spacing. The catch is isolation. Jobs are limited. Cell service is a coin toss. Internet can be slow. Winter is not cute. It's cold, dark, and very real. If you need convenience or social life, you'll suffer. If you like quiet and wood stoves, West Virginia feels like a hidden level of the game. State number 2, Kentucky. Low rules, high grass, and suspiciously reasonable. Kentucky is what happens when a state collectively decides if you can swing a hammer and not burn the place down, you're fine. In rural counties, land under $3,000 per acre is normal. Pasture, woods, and some spots that make you say, we'll figure out that gully later. The soil is better than it has any right to be. The same dirt that raises horses can also raise your tomatoes. Codes? Minimal. Outside towns, you can put up a cabin, a manufactured home, a shed conversion experiment. People will judge you quietly from the porch and then offer to help. Property taxes are low, which makes holding land long-term much easier. The downsides, healthcare can be far, wages low, and if you move in from a city, people will detect your accent immediately. You're not trusted right away, you earn your way in by showing up and working. If your off-grid dream is more garden, less HOA, still near town, Kentucky is extremely practical. State number 1, Mississippi. Dirt cheap, heavy air, and more quiet than you're used to. Mississippi is the place where you check the price per acre and say, wait, refresh that? In rural areas, land under $2,000 per acre is normal. Even cheaper if you're okay with soil that's a bit swampy, a bit sandy, or we need to see this in person before we believe it. The climate is intense. Long, hot seasons, heavy humidity, and bugs with main character energy. But it grows food. Okra, melons, corn, greens. If the soil is decent and you show up, it responds. Out in the country, building rules fade. Cabins, trailers, salvaged material homes. People have seen it all. As long as you're not dumping waste in the creek, the main attitude is, handle your business. The downsides are flooding in low spots, termites, storms that knock out power, and infrastructure that doesn't always bounce back quickly. But if you want the absolute lowest entry point into land-based living, and you're willing to work with the climate, Mississippi is still king of cheap. So why is this land so affordable? It's not because these states forgot how to charge money, it's because you're paying with something other than dollars. In Kentucky, you trade for limited services. Low taxes and light rules are great until you need a hospital or a contractor before winter. In Mississippi, you trade for climate and risk. Heat, humidity, bugs, storms that knock out power. The land is cheap because you are the one signing up to manage the conditions. That's the pattern. The lower the price per acre, the more you pay in sweat, logistics, patience, and resilience. If you're still here and still thinking, honestly, that sounds fine, then you're exactly the kind of person these states are quietly waiting for.